These pants don't really match my sweater, but that's okay. I have a cup of tea. We are ready to roll. I'm actually going to take off my cushion. There we go. Hello my friends, it's Nina and welcome to 2020. Today is January 1st and guess who's planning their bullet journal the day of the new year instead of prior to the new year, so you have time to actually prepare for the new year. Me. But it's better late than never. In this video, I'm going to be setting up my bullet journal, as you can see right here. This is actually my first year setting up a bullet journal. I started bullet journaling in a random month during a random year. I didn't start in January, I just started whenever, and I didn't even really organize myself. But for 2020, I wanted to do things a little bit differently, and so I'm going to be starting a brand new journal in the beginning of the year, and I'm actually going to make this a little bit more useful for me. So sit back, relax, get a cup of tea, unless you're actually, oh, that's really hot. Unless you're actually really bullet journaling with me, then get your supplies and let's just get started. I'm going to be starting a new bullet journal. It's the same brand that I'll just put right here for you guys. This time I decided to get this nice gray color just to be different from my black bullet journals in the past. You have served me well, but I will use you for other things. So for this video, I'm going to be doing my 2020 setup, and I'm also going to show you my January setup. I already have a bullet journal setup, and that was for my monthly setup. How long was that in the shot? Ooh. This year it's going to be the same thing, except this time I am going to add some special elements. For my bullet journal setup, I'm going with a grayscale kind of theme, as you can also see by my markers. I'm literally just going to be using I'm literally just using one marker. It is this gray mild liner. It's a zebra mild liner. It's a light gray color. These I'll be using for January. I'm just going with this sort of light blue kind of theme. But for my 2020 setup, I'm going with one color because I don't want to confuse my eyes. Throughout the year, I'm going to use different colors, different washi tapes and stickers. And so for my 2020 setup, I want to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not really sure if I'm going to use these tapes, but maybe I will. So now that I've explained myself, let's just actually do it together. So hello, here is my bullet journal. These bullet journals have indexes, and so I'm just going to write the content pages. First page is going to be a key, so one key, and then I'll just add to that later on. But here is the first page. As you can see, these pages are dotted. I'm going to start with my key. Here is my other bullet journal. I'm just going to use it as a reference, but basically I'm just going to write key in the center. And then with a black pen, this is a Muji 0.38 tip pen. I'm just going to write out key very tiny like that. And this is my key page. And then under that, I'm just going to write my bullets. Personally for me, I like to use square checkboxes for tasks. This is going to represent my task finished. And basically, I like to put a red check mark inside the box, and that means the task is finished. Task finished. And then for me, if I want to cross something out or cancel something, I'll literally just do a cross out through the task. And then I also like to do heart bullets, and this is for something good. This can be a discovery I made or something good that happened that day. Something just positive, I guess. And then I like to have an exclamation bullet point, and this is for something urgent or important. And then finally, I just have a regular bullet point, and this is for a simple note. But here is my key. It's very simple. And then finally, I'm just going to do a basic sort of measure grid sort of thing going on here. So this specific journal has 26 dots by 38 dots. So here we go. I think it's sort of straight. Don't be hard on yourself if the line's not straight. So here's our little vertical line. And then we're going to make a horizontal line, just kind of continuing off of that. And that's our horizontal line. And then here I'm going to write that horizontally there are 26 dots, and then vertically there are 38 dots. When I'm making my bullet journal setups, I will divide things into fourths or thirds or halves, and that is your key page. It's literally just there for your reference. Now I'm going to be doing my 2020 in a year spread. We're taking our simple gray color and we're going to write out 2020. So most of my headers are 2 dots long, just to make it a little bit bigger. And then we're going to get on with this. There are 12 months in a year, so we're going to go for a 3 by 4 sort of grid. First, I'm going to make the headers of each month. We're just going to skip a line, and we're going to start right at the edge right here. We're going to cross out 7. This is going to be the length of a week. Then I'm going to skip 2 dots just for some space and do it again. There is going to be a column left over, but I think it helps just because I don't want it to be all the way here and cramped. Here I'm going to write January, just one letter per box. Kind of just makes it look centered. I'm literally just writing the first 3 letters of each month just to make everything even. And then I'm going to write down the numbers. So for the months, I go by Sunday to Saturday. That's basically what we do in America, or maybe just in my life. I know a lot of people do Mondays, but for my months, I do prefer Sundays just because that's what I'm used to. But for my weekly spread, I will say that I have begun to start my weeks on Monday. It's definitely much more efficient, but I do still stick with a Sunday to Saturday month. It's a little confusing, but honestly, it works for me. So here is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm just going to write down my numbers. So we have completed 3 months. Now we have 9 more to go. I'm going to show you the next row. So for spacing, I'm going to skip 2 lines and we're going to do the same thing. So now I'm going to explain what I do if there are 6 weeks in a month. It's really no big deal. All I do is just move down 2 spaces and then go to the next month. So I'm going to set it up. So now there is a 3-line difference, but honestly, no one notices. No big deal. I'm going to do the rest of the months and I'll get back to you guys. And 12 months later, here is our final 2020 full year setup. And so I'll just use this as a reference so I'm just not on my phone all the time trying to look at what day it is. We are going to move on to our 2020 goals page. So I do plan to use this setup throughout the year. I'm not just going to come up with a full list of goals right now, but I'm just going to add to it as the year goes. For this spread, I'm going to divide the page in half and have a section for realistic goals and a section for dreams. So my realistic goals are obviously for things that I can achieve eventually. So first, I'm going to divide this page in half. As we remember, there are 26 dots this way. I'm going to go to the 13th dot. I'm pretty sure that's the 13th dot. I'm going to actually confirm it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13. I've been bullet journaling enough that I just know where the 13th dot is. That's kind of straight. And then next, I'm going to write my header for realistic and header for dreams. Now I'm going to write out realistic. Oh, I should have spaced it better. You live and you learn. Realistic dreams. And that is pretty much it for the spread. It's very clean. I might just add a few washi tapes here and there to kind of complete it. I'm going to write a realistic goal right here. I personally want to stretch more, so I think I'm going to write stretch more often. I used to be very flexible, but obviously I stopped stretching, and so I want to incorporate that into my life more. And then a dream. What's a dream I have? Do I have dreams? What's a dream? What's a dream? I'm just going to leave some boxes here so I can fill it out later. And here we have our 2020 goals page. I might just add a few washi tapes here and there. And so I just added a few washi tapes to make it a little more exciting, and we have completed 2 of my spreads. Now I'm going to do my things I did spread. I just kind of wanted a log dedicated to things that happened in 2020. I tend to forget things that happened, and so I just want to have it visually and physically out for me. Again, simple title. And then for this, I will show you how I make my logs. We're going to make a long horizontal line. Let's hope that I do this smoothly. I'm going to separate my spread into 3 categories. We're going to have a date, thing I did, and a category. So I'm going to start here and make a long vertical line. This year I'm just doing freehand because we're going to trust ourselves a little bit. We're going to go down. I literally didn't breathe, okay. We're going to do the same thing here, 4 dots. And here we have our divided columns. Now simply I'm just going to write the headers. We've got date, thing I did. And these things can be accomplishments, events, trips you took, anything like that. And then here's category. And then for category I would write travel, event, any other thing, achievements, something like that, just to kind of organize it. And that is pretty much it. Again, you can decorate it with whatever you want, but I honestly like it just plain. Here I would write the date, the name of the thing that happened, and the category of it. And then at the end of the year, I can see how much happened in my life. If I don't end up filling all 2 pages, that's okay too. The very fact that you're existing and breathing is all that really matters. Next page is the finances page. I'm not really sure if everyone needs this or if this will be useful to anyone, but this is what's useful to me. I just kind of want to keep a record of my earnings and all that. I'm going to do the same thing again and start with the header. And then I'm going to make 12 little boxes for each month. This is kind of similar to the year layout that we just did. To make everything even, the boxes are 7 by 8, so we're going to go down 8 dots. And then I'm going to literally make the box with the same marker. I'm using the fine tip part of the pen. These boxes are just so cute. We're going to skip one line and then move on. So now I'm going to write the months out. Basically, these boxes are just going to help me total my earnings. As you can see, here's the total, and then here's a dollar sign, so things are just going to add up, and that'll be my earnings for the month. Everyone's needs are different, so you might not need the spread, or you might change it up a little bit, but I think it's just useful to have some sort of finances page. And here is the spread for my finances. It's just kind of cute. We are now moving on to my wish list spread. We're making the same sort of grid, except for just one page. And then we're going to break it down into 3 categories. I'm going to have the item here, the price, and the category of the item. Here I'll just write an example of a wish list item I have. I want to get an ergonomic office chair for my back. So I'm going to write ergonomic office chair. I don't have an idea of what kind of chair I want, so I can't write down the price yet, but I do know I just want a nice office chair. Here I'll just write work/office. And here is my wish list. We're going to make our expenses page. You guys probably get this by now, but I'm just going to make another log again. Here I'm going to write the expense, here is the cost or the price, and here is the category. These are my expenses pages. I left myself 2 pages, I think that would be enough. And then personally for me, I want a video ideas section as well. Just having these sort of brain dump pages where you can throw in whatever you want is kind of useful. And then just to make this a little fancy, kind of like a washi tape, I'm going to write all these little play buttons. I should have probably made like a space or something because now I have to keep going, but I'll see you guys in like a minute. There we go. So it kind of looks like a washi tape. I just put all these play buttons because of YouTube. And now we have freedom to write whatever video ideas we have. Finally, I'm going to just leave space for my reflections. I want my 2019 reflections and my 2020 reflections. 2019 reflections and then 2020 reflections. This just allows me to kind of reflect what I think physically writing out my thoughts is just more effective and meaningful to me. So I like to keep reflections pages in everything I do. Gonna just do simple hearts. And here are the reflections pages. I'll write out all my thoughts here and leave this for the end of the year. Now I will briefly go over my monthly layout just because it did change a little bit, but overall it is pretty much the same as my last bullet journal video. So that's why I'm going to quickly go through it. And for January, I wanted to go with this color. We're going to write January nice and big, takes up 2 rows. And then right under, we're going to make that line. It's okay if it's not perfect. Oh my god, that's really wavy. I'm going to fix it just a little bit. I don't know if that made that better. That's fine. It's chill. In fact, to make it even, I'm going to just go over this again. There we go. No one can tell the difference. I'll just do snowflakes. We're still in winter. Now here comes the tedious part, which is making the month. This time I'm not going to use a ruler just because I don't really have the patience for it anymore. We're going to skip 2 dots and start right here. The title of the days are going to be 1 row long. So the days themselves are 6 by 6. So here we have 4 weekdays and then 3 more here. It's going to make 7. And there we have it, folks. We have a 4 by 5 grid. We're going to do a 3 by 5 grid here. There it is. I don't really know what happened here. It is kind of naked right now, so we're going to add some more color. So January starts on Wednesday. I'm going to start on Wednesday as well. Because these dates are from December, it's going to be a gray color. And then on Wednesday, we're going to start with blue. January also ends on Friday, so I'm going to color this gray for February. Then over here we have our little goal section and then our feature section, and that is pretty much it. I'm going to fill these out. And there we have our completed month. Moving on, I'm going to make my habit tracker. This is pretty much the same thing as last time too, but I just freehand this time because if you remember my last video, I used a ruler and that took way too long. I'll also just start on my brain dump as well. This is where I just have the freedom to throw out ideas and discoveries, anything I want, just little notes here and there. Then for the habit trackers, I have 9 habits that I track. These are also similar to the month layouts that we've done before, so I'm going to just make a line of 7 right there, skip 2, move on to the next, move on to the next. So we're going to make a 5x7 box, and we're freehanding this time because this is honestly so simple. And then here is the habit tracker all finished, and I actually did finish the brain dump because this is supposed to be blank. I am going to cross out the days that are not in January. And just like my last spread, I'm going to put a slash through it. So the habits I track are YouTube, Instagram, exercise, vitamins, iron, walking my dogs, watering my plants, skincare, and Korean. I'm going to try to learn more Korean this year. Actually, in fact, I'm going to write that in my goals. I'm going to study Korean more often. I don't want to pressure myself by writing study Korean every day. I'm just going to write more often. In 2020, we're also going to be easier on ourselves for the sake of our health. Now I will show you my weekly spread. So my weekly layout is basically the only thing that really changed. Instead of going with my horizontal layout that I did before, I'm going to go for more of a quadrants kind of style. So basically for this quadrant style, I'm just going to divide the page. I drew a line here and a line halfway, same thing for here. And then right down the middle with the fine tip, I'm going to make a line. This is going to divide my page into 4, another 4 days here. It's just more vertical space this way. It's not so cramped. Because there are 7 days in a week, I had this leftover box. I'm going to separate it into 2. And then this is going to be our notes. And then this is going to be our future. And like I said before, now I'm going to start with Monday instead of Sunday because my week basically ends on Sundays since I upload on Sundays. Having Sunday here just didn't really make sense for me, so we're going to start with Monday. Finally, we're going to write notes and then future. So future is for stuff that happens next week or weeks after that or months after that. Doesn't really matter. Then I'm going to skip a few pages. These are going to be my future weekly layouts. Here is the final part of the month and it's going to be our January reflections. I like to have 2 pages where it just really functions as a diary. I kind of just write in this throughout the month. It doesn't really mean I have to write every single day. It's just whenever I have a mood where I want to be emotional or sentimental and write out my feelings. I have 2 pages for that. And then just for the heck of it, I'll write the first log. And then after that, this is basically my thought for today, but after that, if it's like the 3rd or the 15th, I'll just write right under it so I can save room. And it's just plenty of space for my thoughts. And that is it for my reflection section. This is basically my diary. And then here are the final results of our 2020 setup. This is the first page. Here is our key page for our reference. And then we have our clean 2020 in a year, our 2020 goals, things I did, finances, my wish list, my expenses page, my video ideas, 2019 reflections, 2020 reflections, and then we're moving on to our monthly setup. This is basically the same for every month. If I want to decorate, I have the freedom. This is our month. Then we have our habit tracker, our brain dump, and then here's our first weekly setup. It is a tiny bit different, but it's much more effective. Then some more pages for weekly layouts in the feature. And then finally, here is our January reflections. And then this will be February. And that, my friends, is pretty much it for this bullet journal video. My tea is now room temperature. This was my first official bullet journal setup. I always just go right in, not taking the time to make spreads for things that are important in my life. I just wanted this to be something that I could look back at 5 years from now and be like, wow, that's what I did in 2020. So that is it for my 2020 setup. Hopefully this is useful to you in 2021 or 2022 or 2023 or 2024 or 2025. I also did show you my updated monthly setup as well. I hope that this helps to organize your 2020 a little bit. It's extremely simple. Extremely simple. Some of you guys are probably looking at this video like, Nina, that is so simple, and that is okay. This is just what's useful to me. But yeah, let's just bring it in. Happy New Year. Let's have a healthy, safe, and kind year. I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, my friends. Why are there so many sounds?